In this video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes on a corporate photo shoot, show you the gear that I used and how I used it. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Curtis Crow and I own and operate Crowbird Creative. It's a video production company that I started several years ago. The goal of this YouTube channel is to not only share my experiences, but kind of bring you along behind the scenes on my journey. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna take a look at a photo shoot that I went on. I don't do a ton of photography. I mainly do video production and I do web design and I do the occasional graphic design and the occasional photography. Most of the time, my photography is for my video clients, my corporate clients that want stills as well to use for their website or other purposes. And that was the case here. This was for the local community college, and it was actually for their nursing program. Every year, the graduating class gets professional headshots, and those headshots are then sold to the students via prints and all that. And I also will have to make a big composite that they can hang up in their hallway at the university, which is really cool. It's a fun project. So let's take a look at just the production side of this. For this shoot, I had a relatively simple setup when it comes to lighting and camera and lens. And so for the main camera, I use my Canon EOS R, which is probably my favorite camera that I've ever used. It's not my main camera anymore for video production for several reasons with some of the limitations that Canon has on video, but I still love the camera, especially for photography. It's a fantastic photo camera. I paired that with the 50mm Sigma Art lens. The reason why I chose 50mm is I personally feel like 50mm is the most flattering for faces and like facial features. This lens, which I'm using right now, is a 16mm lens, and it's a wide lens. Especially when I get up on it like this, it's going to be kind of distorting my face, and it will do that anyways. It kind of distorts things a little bit. I think 50mm is that, in my opinion, that perfect compression that is the most flattering to faces. That's why I chose it. Now, in this case, they wanted a colored backdrop. And they actually chose like this midnight blue color, which I'm glad. I already had this color of paper roll kind of here in the studio. It's like my favorite backdrop to use. It's set up back here actually. So I was really glad they chose it. I love it. It's a great color. And that's what they wanted, just a solid color. Now, I will say some people choose vinyl backdrops over paper because paper backdrops, you can actually see the texture of the paper in the image. And some people don't like that. I actually don't mind. I kind of like that texture a little bit. I'm not as big a fan of just flat color backdrops. I like it to feel as real as possible. And so that's why I really prefer to use paper. And also paper is way cheaper than vinyl backdrops. So I have a subject and then just a paper backdrop. So how do I light them? How do I light them to make them look as good as possible? For the case of this shoot, I didn't want it to be a really high-key situation, like where the backdrop is super bright and the subject is super bright. I didn't want that super even light. I just said super a lot. Sorry. So I used a key light that was kind of offset about 30 degrees from the camera. If you can take a look at this shot that I have right now, you can see the fall off of the light. I'm just using window light from a door right now, but I prefer a look like this as opposed to this where the subject is super flat, and you can see now I don't think this looks as good as what this looks. But in the case of a professional headshot, you can't have it super dramatic either, so I had the subject a little bit turned and there's a little bit of drama on this side of the face and the key light is over here. Now the backdrop, the backlight did a good job of wrapping around as well. So for the key light, the main light that I used was the Aperture 300D Mark II, and I love this light. It's super powerful, way more powerful than what you need for something like photography, but I use it for video mainly, and I absolutely love the look of this light. But I only like it when it's paired with a nice softbox. In my case, I often use the Aperture Light Dome 2. So that was my key light, and that's what I had actually planned to use, and it worked out perfectly. Now, to do the backdrop and to have a hair light on the subject, I actually went a different route, a route that I didn't expect to take. When I got there, I had planned to light the backdrop, the paper backdrop, with 2 or 3 different lights and have it you know, nice and bright and even, but not super, like I said, not super high key lit where, you know, you can't see the texture, but I figured I'd have to hit it with a lot of light. And then I'd have a separate light coming from the background to give a nice hair light or kicker light to the subject. But on set, I got the idea to actually accomplish this with one light. I used the Aperture 120D, the original version, the OG Aperture light, the Aperture 120D, and I used Aperture's lantern softbox. It's a really cool attachment for a light. It's small, but what it does is create a nice soft source everywhere, right? It's that lantern look. So it's really good for booming over the top of stuff. So what I was able to do with it is boom it up really high in between the backdrop and the subject. So the light was spilling out everywhere, and it was able to hit the backdrop and provide a nice light on the backdrop. And it wasn't an even light on the backdrop, which I was actually okay with because, again, I liked the texture of the paper. I didn't want the backdrop to be completely lit up. And then it also provided a really nice hair light on the subject, and it did that at the same time with one light. Now, I will say, be very careful when booming lights on set. I had a really sturdy setup, a really strong C-stand, a really strong boom grip arm, and then I had a sandbag, as you can see, to kind of balance out the weight. But even with all that, you want to be very careful where you place it. You don't want it to be in a high traffic area. If somebody trips over that and knocks it over, you've got a serious problem legally on your hands, more than likely. So be careful when you're doing that, but it's also a really effective tool and a great way to just utilize one light. So this entire setup was done with those two lights, Aperture 300D as a key light and the Aperture 120D as a, you know, a kind of, you know, I don't know, backdrop slash kicker slash hair light, however you want to call that. But I was really happy I was able to pull that off with just those two lights. Now, the thing that sets this photography shoot above any of the others that I've done is how I was able to make the subjects really comfortable and then confident that they left the room having taken a good photo. And here's how I was able to do this. When they sat down, I would say, let's get one photo out of the way, and then that photo will pop up on the screen in front of you. I had a monitor that just mirrored my computer screen, and they were able to see the photo after it was taken. Now, how are they able to see that? Well, that's the part that I absolutely love about this shoot. This was the first time I'd ever done this, and I will do it every time after this, is I shot tethered to Lightroom. What that means is your camera is connected to the computer. In the case of the Canon EOS R, I connected it via a USB-C cable directly to my MacBook Pro. That camera is connected to the computer, and once you are in Lightroom, you can actually go up to File and then hit Tethered Capture and then hit Start Capture. And once you hit Start Capture, it will bring up a prompt window where you can tell Lightroom where to store the raw files, where to store the Lightroom catalog, and what to name the files, and all of that good stuff. Then what will happen is a control bar will pop up in Lightroom, and you're able to actually activate the shutter on your camera, change different settings, and other things. And so what actually was able to happen was I was back away from my camera, standing at the computer, and I was just able to, you know, click the shutter button on the computer. It would fire the camera. I'd wait a few seconds, and then the picture would pop up in Lightroom, ready to edit, right there on the spot. And again, I just had my screen mirrored to an external monitor, and that's what they saw. So the main reason I did this is I wanted people to be able to see their own picture. So I knew going in there that I wanted them to leave confident knowing that I got the shot. That image pops up on the screen, they can make the adjustments that they want to make, and then we can take as many photos after that, and once we're done, we save the photo that we like. So what made tethering to Lightroom so amazing was not only that they were able to see the photo, but then I was able to organize those photos by saying, I want this one, I'm going to keep this one, so I gave it 5 stars. And then to top things off, I would say, do you want any touch-ups? And most people would say no, but some people would say, actually, yeah, I just had this pimple pop up this morning. Can you take that out? And I was able to take it out right there on the spot. And not only did it blow their minds, but again, it gave them that confidence that they were leaving the room having taken the photo that they are happy with. And there's nothing better than when you're taking a bunch of photos like that to know that that person chose the final photo. I don't have to make that decision later on and guess which one I think is the best. they choose. So tethering to Lightroom gives you a ton of options that you don't get when you're just shooting with the camera. It allows you to show the client the shot you just took. It allows you to save that shot, as in organizing that shot. It allows you to edit on the spot, which is fantastic, and it gives you a backup file. Not only is the image recorded onto an SD card in the camera, but it's also recorded to wherever you told Lightroom to store it. So you're essentially getting 2 of those files saved at one time, which we can all agree is a great thing. So that's it, guys, for this video. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you learned a little bit from this behind the scenes on a photo shoot. I could probably make a whole nother video on tethering to Lightroom, and honestly, I can't wait to use it again on another shoot. This project, I've learned so much, and again, this is the whole point of this YouTube channel. The reason I was so excited that I got 2 days to shoot these photos, knowing that there would be downtime, I was really excited that meant I was able to capture this behind the scenes and create this video for you to share things that I've learned. Because again, the point of this YouTube channel is to share my experiences and take you behind the scenes on my shoots and on my journey. So thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoy these videos, you know, I guess subscribe, do all that stuff that you're supposed to do. More than anything, I'd love for you to leave a comment, ask a question, you know, maybe show me something, tell me about something that I missed. Maybe I didn't even know I could do that I was able to do that would have helped me out on this shoot. I love the conversations that I've been having on YouTube. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for you. I appreciate it, guys, and I will see you in the next video.